What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the third day of November. Here we are at about $107.6 thousand with 10 hours and 35 minutes left in the day. We've pulled back a little bit, and over the past few days, I have been calling for the price to pull back down to about 105 to 103K. Yesterday, we relinquished that call, thought we were going to move up to the upside instead, and well, now we're down. So I should have stuck with that call, but that's okay. It's very possible that we do have a low here, and that's kind of the question right now, isn't it? Is this the low? Is it something that we can depend on, or are we going lower from here? And if we do go lower, how much lower? Before we really get into the short-term stuff, I just want to say we are very much depending on this megaphone pattern right here, very much counting on this. And statistically speaking, whenever you have a a partial decline, where you reach for this trend line and you don't actually hit it, it's not achieved, you typically do look to break out to the upside. In my 10 years doing technical analysis, there have been moments where I've seen this partial decline come, and then you do stuff like this and you still break out to the downside though. Those moments typically happen when you get a move like this that comes up, and then you get a move like this that comes back down and takes out that low. So what I'm getting to here is that we're not seeing something that reverses the call. We're not seeing something yet that is suggesting that we're not going to break out to the upside and that instead we're going to go to the downside. We're not seeing that yet. What I'm saying is we want to avoid taking out this level here. We can go slightly below it, and if we do go below it, it should be in the respects of a fake out. It should be something that is so minuscule, so minute, and immediately we pull back to the upside. We have a fantastic reaction. Without something like that, if we linger at all below this line, or if we do push further below this line, the statistical probability that we break out of this overall pattern to the downside goes up tremendously. So again, I'm not talking about that because I think that's what's going to happen. I'm talking about that because this is something we want to avoid happening. There's still a slim chance that it could work out well, but let's just avoid that entirely and keep these higher lows going, okay? Really, in that sense, to the opposite effect, breaking above this point is vital to validating that we are in fact breaking to the upside. This point right here, $116.4 thousand, is a very important level. It's an area that we found support at consistently here. We found some support right there, a little bit of resistance just above right here, right in this area, resistance right there. It's a vital area of this overall pattern, and I think that once we get above that, that completely validates the low, wherever the low might be, and also validates that we're going to break out, and we're likely going to go all the way up to about $155,000 by the end of the month. That's the expectation. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's look at the short-term stuff again. It starts here. Is this the low or not? Do we have lower to go? Let's figure that out. Okay, so looking at the 1 hour time frame, let's start with where I went wrong. Okay, so 1 hour time frame here. I'm looking at the price and I'm thinking, we should have, if we were to move down, we should have done it already. We haven't moved down. It's the weekend, perfect time to move down or have some screwy price action, but no, we were just moving sideways. I feel like the sentiment went bearish, went short here, so that made me want to go long, go opposite of that, but didn't work out this time. And we were actually looking at our RSI to guide us as well on the 1 hour time frame here. Whenever you look at this from the higher lows and the higher highs perspective, that we have this little like parallel channel. Yesterday when I made my video, we were like right here, because right now it's the 13th hour. We were literally like right here, 14th, 13th hour, somewhere right here yesterday on the RSI. So imagine that you have this look. What? Continue? No, start new. I want to start a new replay. Imagine you have this look where the RSI is literally at the low ends of this level. It would make sense. Well, maybe not quite right there. Let's play it a little bit and see. There we go. Something like that. Yeah, like right there. Whoop. Right at that level there, before the drop actually happened, you would have expected that it moved up, or at least I did. And I did expect that we would move into the overbought zone and have some spectacular growth. The last time that we were in the overbought zone, we saw a nice push higher. A push like this, if we were to push higher in the overbought zone from yesterday, a push like that, right from this price, would have allowed us to break out of the zone overall to the upside. But we didn't get that. Instead, we actually broke to the downside. Instead, the RSI misled us, and now we're actually in a downtrend. It's very uncommon. It's very uncommon to take an upward sloping trend in the RSI and not see this resolve itself in the overbought zone. Typically, you get overbought. The fact that we turned into a downtrend here without even getting overbought is is not common. It does not happen, but it does. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Looking at it now, we got oversold pretty deep in the oversold zone. Now we're back up here where the 40 is. Probably going to find resistance at prior support, finding resistance at the 40 in itself, and then we would come down, get a higher low in the RSI, lower low in the price. Bullish divergence is probably what would happen. And we can see that form on the stochastics. We can see that form on the MACD. All of these are postured for that. None of them really suggesting that we found a low yet. So I would think then that we go lower, but not too much, right? To form bullish divergence, you can't rip through the floor. You got to have a slightly lower low. So nothing too dramatic, right? Hopefully. And we look at the RSI, we can see that we're pretty heavily oversold. Right here, we're probably not going to be here for too much longer, right? We don't actually get this oversold too often. I mean, it does happen, but we don't get past this, maybe is what I should say. And typically we do start moving up from this area, right? So I would expect that we get a slightly lower low, but slightly being the key word there. Okay, looking at the 4-hour time frame, zooming out a little bit more. If it were to be slightly lower, where might it go? Let's just take this low to high here. Right at the golden ratio, 1272, maybe down to 106.3 to 106K itself, and we could go lower. Again, there are a ton of longs to be liquidated at about $103,000. If we go to $103,000, that's $5.7 billion in what is a total of $7.4 billion in longs to liquidate. That's actually a lot of longs to liquidate relative to the or relevant to the total amount down there to about $103,000, and we could push a little bit past that. I would say if we push down to 103K, let's say we had a big wick, right? We had a big wick like we did yesterday right here. We had a big wick that reached down, and then we came up and closed. If we did something like that, that's okay. But if we close down there, that's going to get rid of the bullish divergence setup that we have on the 1-hour time frame, and it would probably get rid of any setups that we'd have on the 4-hour time frame as well. We'd really be counting on a bounce there strictly based off of just liquidated positions and shorts being dominant, and then maybe some prior support areas back here or key levels to watch. I don't know, but I would just prefer it if we didn't find ourselves down below 104K. If we go down there, fine, whatever. But then we're in a bit more of a critical moment where here we've got a little leeway. So while we have some leeway, it's a better thought, at least in my mind, to just move up higher. But regardless, I do think that we have a little bit lower to go. Looking at the RSI here, bouncing off the oversold zone is nice. Higher lows are nice. Can we maintain it? That's the question. You know, if this 4-hour candle, if 2 hours, 28 minutes goes by and this 4-hour candle closes green, maybe we don't have to go lower. Maybe the 1-hour RSI, even though it is bearish, maybe we don't need to come down and form this bullish divergence. Maybe we're ready to break out here and move up higher. I don't know. The 1-hour has me convinced that we move lower, but the 4-hour says, hey, if we close this candle green, there's actually a chance that we're bouncing off the oversold zone. And when you bounce off the oversold zone, that typically does promote a little bit of growth, actually. So that could send us back above this area here. I think it's very, very important that we get above this level here at some point, 116.4K. And in order to get above that level, we have to break this zone. Whenever we get above this level here, 111.2K, that's really the next target area right there. So 111.2K is the line to watch right now. Closing a 4-hour time frame there or higher would likely provide that this is the low or wherever the low might be. Until then, I guess I am leaning toward the downside, okay? So let me say that again so that it's clear. We really could have found the low here. It's possible. The 4-hour time frame is suggesting that. Not with every indicator, but with the stochastics and with the RSI, it's suggesting that, at least as of now. You know, by the end of the day, another 8 hours, 10 hours goes by, it could be a whole different look in a bullish or bearish way. And at the moment, I'm going to stick with the idea that we do move slightly lower, that we would at least go down to prices that are around 106, maybe even a little bit below there, 105K, something like that, all right? Nothing intense. If I'm wrong on that, we'll validate that I'm wrong on that by the time that we close above 111.2K on a 4-hour time frame. If we do that, then what we're looking for is no longer prices down to 105, 106K. We're looking for prices that are at 116.4K and beyond. And if we can close above 116.4K, really we're saved. I think we're just moving up higher. At that point, things are looking really good. But from a 4-hour perspective, the RSI is in a position to bounce. So are the stochastics. The MACD kind of suggests that we go lower, but it's also less reliable whenever you're moving sideways and when we're on these lower time frames. Looking at the daily time frame, we are building some bearish momentum now. 10 hours, 25 minutes left in the day. If we are looking to trend higher, I think it would be nice to see some kind of recovery in a very short amount of time. It's okay that we've crossed red. It just wouldn't be okay if we started building bearish momentum, because if we start building bearish momentum again, we likely do take out this low. We likely do challenge that $100,000 level. And again, challenging $100,000 in itself is not necessarily what worries me. It's this idea of doing what we typically do with a megaphone pattern whenever it comes to breaking out to the downside. This kind of behavior, it would be very conductive to the bearish effect if we were to return there. So again, and that would be, if we were to move below 100K, if we were to move down to $98,000, $96,000, technically we're still at the base of this level. We're still at the base of this pattern. But whenever you get a partial decline like this, the only times that I've seen a partial decline come in and you broke out to the downside is whenever you make a move just like this and then you come down just like that. I mean, the odds would be great that you go lower. So I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see us contest 100K, because then again, that would mean that we get below this low here. Just because I don't want to see it doesn't mean that it can't happen. But that's just something to pay attention to, okay? And again, if we go below 100K, the world is not over, but we'll definitely be looking at things with a different scope, okay? Looking at the daily RSI, bouncing off the 40 is nice. I don't like that we've come back down and we're back at the 40 here. I would have liked it if we continue moving higher, but who cares what I like. Overall, I would, if we could maintain this kind of higher low, higher high structure, that would be nice as well. So I think it'd be very vital, let's say, to the cause if Bitcoin could come up and close green today. The stochastics are right at an area to bounce as well. And the MACD, again, you can cross red, you can have these, look, you cross green here, and that didn't mean that we were bullish going through the roof. We did have a little bit of a bullish move, but it was really just a touch point at which we continued moving lower, right? If this could just be a touch point at which we keep moving higher to the opposite effect where we just crossed red, I think that'd be nice. If we could come back up by the end of the day or sometime over the coming days and just cross back to the green effect, I think that'd be nice. So hopefully if we move down, we don't move too much lower. I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm just going to end the video there. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. 107.9K now. Things are looking up a little bit. If I'm wrong, again, the area to watch right now is 111.2K. If we can get above 111.2K, then likely this is the low today. This is the low. We have a higher low, and then we're moving higher. But at the moment, I am considering, I don't know how low we'll go, and that's why I haven't really set a price. I mean, we've set 106, 105K. Somewhere in there. But what I'm most confident about is that we will close a 1 hour time frame just below 107K. If we do that, we get some bullish divergence, and that could be enough to send us higher. And with this, again, we could wick lower and then come back up and close higher. So we could wick down below 105K, but then still close above 106K. You know what I mean? Something like that. Give us some bullish divergence, then we move up higher. We're looking to break 111.2K. Then 116.4K, and then really new all-time highs. That's all I got. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.